Digi and ForNever both released videos. Digibro's video I had some gripes with, and for ForNeverWorld's I have a lot to say about that. Not gonna do much for an introduction, let's just get started.
Buy the shit, stream the shit on the legal platforms because it always helps out the industry in the end.
But does it really help out the industry in the end? I suppose it depends on which platform you're actually doing it on. If you're doing it from Amazon, then you're telling Amazon it is okay for them to do that giant paywall. If you're doing it from Netflix, then you're telling Netflix that it's okay not to simulcast and actually have a false HD. I'll explain the gripes I have with Netflix later. Because I feel people have forgotten that Netflix does other stuff besides just not simulcasting. I don't have many complaints about Funimation except for that Gamergate incident. Yeah, Funimation, I have not forgotten about that incident. Crunchyroll, on the other hand, I don't really have a problem with.
Dude makes money talking about this stuff. Dude makes $3,700 something on Patreon and tons of money as well off his YouTube channel talking about this stuff. And essentially one big piece of his argument, on top of the fact that he's a guest at the upcoming Crunchyroll event and whatnot, he was essentially saying piracy is okay and trying to advocate for piracy.
For instance, Watch Made in Abyss. Now if I type Watch Made in Abyss and the first result is Crunchyroll, I'm going to click on Crunchyroll and I'm going to watch it right there. If I type that in and the first result is Kiss Anime and there's nothing else on the page that looks official, I'm going to watch it on Kiss Anime.
He's not advocating for piracy, because even if Kiss Anime came up with the first thing, he's still looking on the page to see if there's anything official. If there's nothing official, meaning no licensors have it at all, and the only place he can watch it is an illegal streaming site, that means then he's going to there. Meaning he actually supports the official stuff, unless no one even has it. And on second note, why even bring up that he's getting paid for it? If he wants to be paid for it and people are willing to pay him for it, why not? It's like knocking out two birds with one stone. He gets to do and talk about whatever he wants, and he gets paid for it.
Kiss Anime gives him the experience he wants. Now, if you don't know, that's one of the illegal sites or whatever and shit like that, right? And he said, it gives him the experience he wants. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Why does the illegal site give you an experience that, like, other sites, like Funimation or whatever? Like, it just kind of boggled my mind, honestly.
It gives him the experience that he wants, because if you go with Netflix, what they do is actually pretty bullshit. Because I don't even think Netflix cares about anime. 1, no simulcast. Okay, everyone knows that. 2, the audio is actually off with the subtitles sometimes. 3, they can't even get the words correct. Even in English, if you look at the subtitles, they are almost completely different. If you go watch Gurren Lagann from Netflix and look at the subtitles, what they say versus what they're actually saying, it is almost completely different about half the time. So if they can't even get English correct, just think what they will do with the subbed. 4, their HD isn't even really HD. How they do it is they have HD and then compress it down, while technically it is still HD. It is compressed to the point that people with really bad internet can stream. Netflix can fix this problem if they have a two-option thing, the false HD and a real HD, because some people would want the real HD. If you put a Netflix HD and a Blu-ray HD right next to each other, it is actually very noticeable. From a business standpoint, it actually does make sense, but from a consumer standpoint, we are actually getting a worse quality thing, and some people would like at least an option to go to the highest HD if they can. So yes, illegal streaming websites actually sometimes do have a better quality than the legal streaming websites.
It was kind of all over the place. He was trying to be one of those pseudo-intellectuals, but didn't really make much sense. And
well, the all over the place is because it's a rant, not really a scripted thing. And 2, it didn't make enough sense to you because you were probably not paying attention and misinterpreting what he's saying or missing the point.
It's a journey and a chore to finish this video.
I'm sure I could say the same to yours, but everyone has their own taste. Hell, someone could say the same to my video.
Now we're getting simulcast, we're getting it within the hour, we're getting dubs, simul dubs and shit like that. We're getting so many great things, but dude wants, instead of waiting, let's just say a half an hour, he wants, within 30 seconds, he wants to click. He can't click over to like an official one, even though he pays for one of them, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 of them, I'm not sure. He pays for a couple of different services, but rather than use those, he just wants to save 20 seconds and click on a different one when he could just easily hop on over there.
No. He's not waiting an hour, he's not waiting a minute, he's not waiting a few seconds, he's waiting months for this simulcast bullshit. Or is behind a ridiculous paywall with bad business practicing. Are you trying to support a bad business practice? Whether you mean to or not, you are voting with your wallet, and if you give them your money, you are supporting the bad business practice, and you're telling them, yes, this is okay for us to do this. And also about the easily hopping on over there, refer to the point I made before. For once we actually have an industry by the balls, because if they want to do some bullshit, people will just go to the piracy, which is actually highly convenient now. Don't think about the now. Think about what it will be if we let these practices continue. With really big competitors like Netflix and Amazon, if they see it actually makes them a lot of money, they could actually go and pretty much buy out all the hot topic anime that's going to be coming out for the seasons to come, and then they'll keep on doing their practices. Because if they're going to constantly be making a lot of money on it, then they don't need to actually change.
He doesn't want to get up and put a Blu-ray in the drive. I'm being dead serious. Dude said he'd rather just go on his PC or whatever and going to a site instead of going and picking up a Blu-ray and sticking the disc into the drive.
So long as it's the same quality on the video he's streaming and on the Blu-ray, why would he? It's just so much faster to look it up online. And why would you even be against this? What if he's looking it up on Crunchyroll? Then he's actually helping the industry by a small amount. And if he looks it up on Kiss Anime, then he's not helping the industry. Okay, but how would watching the Blu-ray help the industry? We already confirmed that he has the Blu-ray already paid for, and he's just going to go look it up. It's not like they get paid off of you watching the Blu-ray, they get paid off of you having the Blu-ray.
And I'm sure if you play video games, your ass gotta get up and go get that video game and stick it in the drive, right? What is the difference here?
The difference is, I'm mostly a PC gamer, so I have everything downloaded. I don't need to actually go get a disc.
He don't buy Blu-rays anymore because he doesn't know how much of his money is going to the director of a show.
So, it's how he wants to spend his money. What if there is literally no money going to the director at all? Then he would be spending his money at the wrong place because it's not supporting what he wanted to support. I'm not saying they're actually giving them no money, but if whoever gets 99% and then the anime gets 1%, then he knows he's not spending his money in the correct spot because it's barely supporting him, and he wants to redirect the support he has for the anime to actually give them more of a return. He'd rather support the anime so they can go on and make similar stuff, rather than supporting the company that makes the Blu-rays.
Bro, because throughout the video, he says something along the lines of the industry needs to fall apart and rebuild or something like that. Sounds like a fucking anime villain. I'm not gonna lie. This sounds like he's trying to be like Pain, like, destroy the leaf and we come back, or destroy the shinobi world and then we rebuild or some shit. I'm like, bro, you need to separate a bit of fiction from reality.
Yes, let's separate fiction from reality. Let's not think what they're doing is a good thing and just blindly supporting them. Let's open our eyes and let's see it's a bad business strategy, and there is only one real way to actually defeat this bad business strategy, and it's not to pay into it. Through my eyes, you actually sound more delusional than Digi. Do you think they'll actually fix it on their own without losing any money? No, the industry deserves to get a hit if that's what it will take for it to be a lot better.
Play your fucking part. The industry has become amazingly better than it was even 5 years ago.
Any industry will have to do that to survive and keep up with the times. But just because it became better doesn't mean they're not also pulling some bullshit that needs to be fixed. Do you think that they became better off the goodness of their hearts? No, they're doing it so that they can get more money. Not a bad thing that they're doing it to get more money. It's just bad when they're doing bad business practices.
We have all these streaming services. Now, obviously, I have my gripes with some of them. Anime Strike, I'll agree with him. You know, it's not a complete attack on this video. I agree. Anime Strike, I'm not paying all that much money. That's ridiculous what they're trying to do. Play your fucking part.
Play your fucking part. Play your fucking part.
I agree. Anime Strike, I'm not paying all that much money. That's ridiculous what they're trying to do.
Now wait 1 minute. He already said he will go to the official website if it's there, with the exception of Anime Strike. So if he has an anime he wants to watch and there's legal streaming for it, he does play his part. But if the legal streaming is not playing their part, then he's going to the piracy, as in if they don't have the anime. The only more he can do of his part through these legal streaming websites would be supporting Anime Strike, which you don't even do. Hell, in my opinion, doing your part would actually be not supporting these websites that are doing shady business practices.
Netflix, I never really cared for it, but Crunchyroll, Funimation, which he did give Crunchyroll some props. I'd argue that he's a bit biased or whatever, but
even he has a Netflix account. And what's this about being biased? I'm sure you're being biased on anything you're spending your money on. You only really spend your money on something if you think it's worth it. So yes, you will have a bias for it.
Crunchyroll, I don't have no ties with them. I fucked with Crunchyroll very heavily. That's where I watch pretty much 90% of my shit on. Funimation, I watch a ton of my shit on there too. So there's some great streaming services. But again, I agree. Anime Strike, Netflix, especially Anime Strike, I don't fucks with it.
You also look biased towards Crunchyroll. And you use it for 90% of your anime. I wonder why you're biased for it.
But a line he said there, going back to the Blu-rays, was nobody really wants or needs the Blu-rays anymore. Well, what about the people that, for example, they don't even have fucking internet? They love anime, but they don't have internet. There are people out there like that, believe it or not.
When he says nobody, he means the majority. Just like if someone said, no one plays Warcraft 1, we're sure we'll find one person on this planet, somewhere, still plays it. Also, who has a Blu-ray player, something to hook it up to, watch the Blu-ray, and has all this expensive equipment, yet they can't even afford internet? By that time, it would be a lot cheaper just to get high-speed internet and stream it. To buy the high-speed internet would be a lot cheaper than going out and buying a whole bunch of Blu-rays and watching them individually. And if they're in that much of a pinch, they're probably not going to be using Crunchyroll. And right now, this video is very long, and I still have only hit about half the topics I'm going to be hitting. I'm going to do a part 2 and talk about the rest later. And as always, I bid you adieu. Thanks for watching.